Hi everybody, this is Renee from Paramount Solutions in Orlando, Florida. We are a small family-owned psychic service. We actually book psychic readings by phone. We have excellent readers. We do test them ourselves. We're maybe about a 1/16 the size of the big lines. We are a family-oriented or family-owned business, and we are very serious about our readings. If you want to get reading today, just call us at 1-800-966-2294. We would love to help. You can definitely explore us a little bit further on our website at www.thepsychicline.com. We have a lot of different fun things on our website and on our YouTube and on our Facebook page, all psychic related and metaphysical related. So if you have any questions, please call us. We would love to help. 1-800-966-2294. I actually wanted to talk a little bit about how we test our readers. It's a very important process, obviously, of our business. And it is obviously what we sell, so we have to make sure that we have excellent readers available for our clients. Now, there are many different types of readers. We specifically look for clairvoyant readers because we know that they are very visual in their descriptions in their readings. So they are people who are excellent with telephone readings. Some of them are also, we also look for some that can use tarot cards. Yes, we do believe that tarot cards are very accurate. Everybody has a personal preference on tarot cards, but we love tarot cards. However, it just kind of depends on a client's perspective and what they want to do with their readings. We also look for psychic mediums. Psychic mediumship is an ability that is in the here and now, and that is also a very interesting reading on the phone, along with some clairvoyance ability. So really, when a psychic reader calls or wants to become a reader on our line, they will actually fill out an application on our website under Readers Wanted. We get a lot of applications. To say a lot would be an understatement of the year. I'm going to say between 10 and 30 a month. That's what I think that's maybe I think I'm comfortable with saying that. Between 10 and 30. That's a pretty broad range, but different months have different, different interests for readers. So, is when we initially get the application is we're looking over the application to see if the reader kind of fits our profile of what we're looking for. Obviously, we don't do palm readings here. That would be something that we definitely, don't really want the reader to do. We don't really care if they do it or not. It's just not something that we do. We always look for readers that are clairvoyant first and foremost. They may use tarot cards. They may be a psychic medium, but we definitely want to have them be clairvoyant. The psychic world is very broad in their abilities, and there's just certain ones that work better on the phone than others. And we're always looking for things for our clients. We do have an extremely loyal client base. We are very, very proud of the fact that our clients have been calling us for years and years. Once a client calls us, they usually stick with us because we're an honest company. We don't do anything crazy. We don't, we're very solid. We definitely have excellent readers. We, really care about, whether or not the client's going to get a good reading from, whatever reader that we have on our line. We do want the readers to have around 15 years of experience or more. We do not necessarily want the reader to have line experience. Sometimes when readers work for other lines, they actually pick up a lot of really bad habits that we don't really condone here, such as keeping clients on the phone or saying just some crazy stuff. We want them to be authentic. We want them to give a good reading. Sometimes if a reader is being too kind of giving like really big predictions, like a lot of big predictions, and you're like, wow, it's not necessarily a good reading. You really want somebody to be realistic and able to help you with your situation. We want somebody to be a solid, good psychic reader who is very visual in their descriptions and how they're doing their readings. Another thing that with other lines, sometimes they pay their readers to stay on the phone with the client. We do not do that. That is kind of a bad habit that a lot of readers do get into, and we don't want that here. We want everybody to know up front exactly what's happening, so there's no additional charges or fees or anything like that coming onto your, to your bill at the end of the call. We just don't think that that's a very fair way to do business. If you want more time, you are always welcome to call. However, just us adding on some extra charges, that would never work for us or our clients. So we know that for sure. After the initial interview, we actually start to use our psychic skills because we actually will do initial phone consultation with the reader that we're interested in. When we start with our initial phone call, we want to make sure that, we explain with how we do our business. But then we also just kind of want to see if that person is somebody who is good with listening, if they seem like they're a caring person, if they're attentive. this is way before the testing service, so this is important to make sure that we're getting somebody who's going to really care about the clients that they're talking to. Our clients, you know, they mean the world to us. We would never want to hook them up with somebody who maybe wasn't caring or, you know, really honest. You know, we definitely want to look for somebody who's doing really well. So after we do that, at the end of the initial interview, we will also just describe how we do our service. Then we actually set up a phone reading with the reader that's applied. During the test reading, we do generally do a general psychic reading, having the reader use the tools that they're most comfortable using. Every tester is different here at Solutions. Even though we are family, most of us, we actually do all have our own personal stuff going on. So we always have different questions for a reader, or even, you know, just things that we look for differently in a reading. We just have different perspectives, which is great. Also, you know, that's one good thing with all the other people that work here too, is they're not related to us. And so they can also get readings and figure out if it's somebody that we wanted to hire, because they know our business also. We do ask we want them to use the regular tools they use. Every tester is a little bit different. I personally prefer a reader to do a cold reading, which is a reading without very many questions or without, you know, knowing me too much, which can be a little bit difficult because I do these Facebook Lives, so I always have to ask them on stuff. If I ask questions, it's always on something that I have never broached here on Facebook Live, because I want to get a really good authentic reading myself. That's why I love to do it. I usually ask a couple questions kind of towards the end. Usually the questions that I ask usually pop into my head through the reading. For clients, when they call in and they ask, I actually have them write down questions just to focus their energy in that direction. And you never ever have to ask questions in a reading here. That's totally up to you. It's your reading. It's your time with the reader. It's whether or not you want to do that. If you want to do cold reading, you're welcome to do that. If you want to do a reading with questions or just focus on a specific area, you are more than welcome to do that. But I usually have my questions kind of pop up during the reading. There's usually some area that the reader finds that usually piques my attention a little bit, that I'm like, I need some clarification on this, on what you're saying. And that's always kind of fun. That's the fun part of it. I always try to do my test readings focusing on what the reader's strengths are. For instance, relationships or business, or even just mediumship, psychic mediumship. The readers are always a little bit nervous during the test readings. Not all, but I'm going to say a good 90% of the readers that we do readings with, because they know they're obviously interviewing for a job, but it's also that they have to give psychic energy back, which is difficult sometimes when you're nervous. So, I just try to clear my energy as much as possible before reading. Being, clear and not too intimidating is a really good way to do a test reading, I feel, because I feel like I would want somebody to be really clear and not intimidating for me. Now, another thing that's actually a really good tip for people who are getting readings is you don't think about it too much, but before you do your reading, to actually take a moment to deep breathe, clear your energy before the reading, get your pen and paper ready. We always recommend pen and paper because we want you to take notes in your reading. But also just to kind of let go any kind of the stress if possible. That will help you get a better reading. After the initial test reading, we do determine on whether or not we need to do another test reading, or maybe with somebody else, or if the reader is really excellent, because there have been some that just come in and they just blow our socks off, and we're like, yeah, you're good. We're gonna go ahead and go through this. We're gonna try to get you on our line is what we want. But sometimes if the reader is nice but really nervous, we will actually send them to do a second test reading with somebody else, and then the third test reading is something that we do if need be also. It kind of, if we end up doing a third test reading with the reader, it's usually because just we feel like they were really nervous. Maybe we gave them a couple tips on the first or second time. We wanted to see if they were going to get in on the third reading. But usually just one or two test readings would usually, with different people, obviously, would actually be the way to go for us. We have been booking and testing readers for over 20 years. Here, like physically on the phone and physically booking and testing readers. We that's what we do. So we do know exactly what we're looking for with the readers, because we know our clients. We know exactly who's going to do well. We actually know if they're going to pan out ahead of time. That's what we always really work for. If we actually don't like the reader after the first reading, we actually just kindly hang up with the reader and then move on to the next applicant, basically. We obviously never use scripts for our readers. We do not train readers. Sometimes we will give a reader, if, for instance, If we feel like the reader is going to be good in the future, if maybe they need a little bit more reading, you know, they need to have more readings under their belt, more exposure to more energy, sometimes we'll just give them some tips on what we think would help them to be a really excellent psychic reader. And then sometimes, actually, we've had those people call us back 6-7 months down the road, or even 2 years down the road, saying, hey, I did work on that. Let me test again. And when they do, then we're like, let's come on, but you're good now. We can have you on our line. So we really do like to keep the reader authentic with their gift. We don't like to do too much coaching. And we also don't, you know, look for readers that have been on other lines, because usually that'll taint them a little bit. Not saying that we don't hire from other lines. You know, we definitely do not recruit from other lines. However, we, you know, it's not horrible to have line experience. It's just a matter of making sure that they can be trained, like, not trained, that they can learn our way. Because our way is actually the kind way. It is the most ethical way. We don't do any kind of crazy fees or running up bills. We want the readers to be honest with what they're saying, because we find that the honesty is accuracy. And we also find that people who are generally very, very caring and nice, they also, and very empathic, they usually end up being a pretty good reader. Now, the number one thing that we want the readers to be, on top of everything else, is to be accurate. There has to be accuracy. You can usually test a reader really quick, and you do know if they're picking up your energy. But they also have to hit some things, like whether or not it could be just something on your pet, or something, you know, with a romantic relationship. They do have to be accurate. That's what people are paying for here. And we do honor that. We always have a 5-minute guarantee with all of our readings. So just to go over for our clients that maybe are interested in getting a reading at some point in the future. If there is ever an issue with any of the readers, we always encourage you to call us back, you know, and then you can book someone else for your full amount of time. It's very important, because we do want you to get a good reading if you get a reading with us. Anyway, if you have any questions, please call us. We would love to help you. Our phone number is 1-800-966-2294. We have relationship specialists, clairvoyant readers. Some of them use tarot cards. Some of them are psychic mediums. We just really love what we do. You should call us. I would love to hear from you. Take care and have a great week. Bye-bye.